The secret of the wondrous sweetness in Youssef's heart. In a warm home filled with the scent of jasmine, Youssef sat beside his wise grandfather Suleiman. With a kind smile, Grandpa asked, "Youssef, have you ever tasted a sweetness that isn't eaten with the mouth, but is felt in the heart?" Youssef looked at him with wide, curious eyes. Grandpa explained that this is called the sweetness of faith, a treasure one collects piece by piece through beautiful choices. Later, Youssef was busy building a giant tower out of colorful blocks. The tower grew taller and taller until it almost touched the ceiling of his room. Suddenly, the sound of the adhan rose from the nearby mosque. Youssef stopped playing and looked at his magnificent tower, which had taken hours to build, then looked at the prayer rug waiting for him in the corner. Youssef thought for a moment. "If I leave my tower now, it might fall, but I love Allah and His Messenger more than anything else." With a peaceful heart, he left his toys and went to perform wudu and pray. At that moment, he felt a strange warmth filling his chest, as if a golden peace had settled in his heart. This was the first peace, to love Allah and His Messenger more than anything else. The next day, Youssef was in the park. A boy named Sammy approached him. Sammy liked to make fun of others. Sammy whispered mischievously, "Hey Youssef, let's go bother those little kids and take their ball." Youssef looked away and saw his friend Omar sitting quietly under a tree reading a book. Youssef remembered Grandpa Suleiman's words about loving for the sake of Allah. Youssef thought, Omar is a good friend who helps me do right, but Sammy wants me to hurt others. Youssef smiled at Sammy and said kindly, "No thanks, Sammy. I'd rather play with Omar." He went to sit with Omar, and as they laughed together, Youssef felt a second pulse of joy. This was the second piece, to love a person only for the sake of Allah. Youssef returned home later that evening full of energy. While running through the living room, he accidentally bumped into his grandfather's favorite vase. The vase fell and shattered into 100 blue pieces. Youssef froze in his tracks and fear began to creep into his heart. He thought, should I say the cat did it, or maybe the wind knocked it over? Then Youssef remembered an important lesson. A believer does not lie, and returning to a mistake is like falling into a dark well. He took a deep breath and decided to be brave. He walked toward Grandpa Suleiman's room, feeling sorry for being careless, but determined to tell the truth no matter what. Youssef said in a low but steady voice, "Grandpa, I broke the vase. I am very sorry." Grandpa Suleiman looked at Youssef for a long time, then smiled and pulled him into a warm hug. Grandpa said, "Your honesty is more precious to me than 1,000 vases, my son. You chose light over darkness." At that moment, the sweetness in Youssef's heart was complete. This was the third piece, to hate returning to sin. Youssef sat with his grandfather once again, but this time his face shone with a special light. Grandpa Suleiman whispered, "Now Youssef, you have collected the 3 golden pieces. Can you feel them?" Youssef nodded and placed his hand over his heart. He felt something more beautiful and sweeter than the taste of honey or sugar. Youssef realized that the secret of the wondrous sweetness is not found in the things we own, but in the choices we make to please Allah. From that day on, Youssef always looked for those golden moments, eager to keep his heart filled with the never-ending sweetness of faith.
Share and subscribe